Welcome to a new journey of understanding and wisdom on Life Lesson TV. What is happiness and how does freedom contribute to it? This question, seemingly straightforward, unravels layers of complexity as we delve into it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Happiness, an elusive concept, varies greatly from person to person. For some, it's a warm cup of coffee on a cold morning. For others, it's the joy of accomplishing a long-term goal. Yet, in its infinite forms, there's a common thread we can trace back to each person's happiness: the element of freedom. Freedom, in its essence, is the power to act, speak, or think as one wants. It's the ability to make choices, to express oneself, to live life on one's own terms. And it's this freedom that often paves the way to happiness. Imagine being able to pursue your passions without any constraints, to voice your opinions without fear, to live your life without any shackles. Wouldn't that bring a sense of joy and fulfillment? But it's important to remember that freedom doesn't mean living without any rules or responsibilities. It's about having the autonomy to choose your path, to make decisions that align with your values and aspirations. It's the freedom to be who you are, to embrace your individuality. And that's where it links to happiness. When you're free to be yourself, to follow your heart and your instincts, you find happiness. However, it's not as simple as it sounds. Freedom doesn't come easy. It's not handed to you on a silver platter. It requires courage. The courage to break free from societal norms, to step out of your comfort zone, to face the unknown. It's the courage to accept the possibility of failure, to expose yourself to defeat. So if freedom is the key to happiness, what unlocks freedom? It's courage. The courage to follow your own path in life, to take the road less traveled, to challenge the status quo. Because at the end of the day, it's your life, your journey. And the courage to make it what you want it to be is what will lead you to happiness. Let me share with you the story of a man named Alex. Alex was a man like many others. He had a steady job, a family, and a home. On the surface, it seemed like he had it all. He was successful by conventional standards. But beneath that facade, Alex was not happy. He felt trapped in a life that was dictated by societal norms and expectations. Every day was the same, filled with mundane tasks and responsibilities that left him feeling unfulfilled and dissatisfied. His life was a revolving door of work, home, sleep, and repeat. It was a rigid structure that offered little room for exploration or self-discovery. Every morning he would wake up, put on his suit and tie, kiss his wife and kids goodbye, and head off to a job that didn't ignite his passion. He was merely existing, not living. His evenings were no different. After a long day at work, he would come home, help his kids with their homework, have dinner, and then sit in front of the television until it was time to go to bed. This was his routine, day in and day out. Alex was living a life that was not his own. He was following a path that was laid out for him by society. He felt like a puppet, controlled by invisible strings that kept him tied to a life he did not want. He was trapped in a cage of societal expectations, and his spirit was slowly being suffocated. His unhappiness was palpable. It seeped into every aspect of his life, affecting his relationship with his family, his performance at work, and his overall well-being. He was emotionally drained, physically exhausted, and mentally depleted. He yearned for something more, something different, something that would set his soul on fire. He longed for freedom, freedom to live life on his own terms, freedom to follow his passions, freedom to make his own choices. But he was shackled by fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. He was caught in a vicious cycle of unhappiness and fear, and he didn't know how to break free. But one day, Alex had an epiphany. He realized that his unhappiness was not due to his circumstances, but due to his lack of freedom. He was not unhappy because of his job or his responsibilities, but because he was not living a life that was true to who he was. He was living a life that was dictated by others. And that was the root of his unhappiness. Alex realized his unhappiness stemmed from his lack of freedom, but how could he find his freedom? The secret to freedom is courage. This is a statement that rings true in so many aspects of life. Courage is not about being without fear, but rather facing those fears head-on, ready to embrace whatever outcome awaits. It's about standing on the precipice of the unknown and daring to leap, not knowing where you'll land. When we talk about freedom, we often think of it in a physical sense. But the most profound form of freedom is arguably mental freedom. The ability to think, act, and live according to your own beliefs and desires, not those dictated by society or others around you. And that, my friends, requires a good dose of courage. You see, we live in a world of norms and expectations. From the moment we're born, we're told how to behave, what to believe, the path to follow. But what if that path doesn't align with who you truly are? What if you feel a different calling, a unique purpose that doesn't fit the mold? That's when courage steps in. Courage is the key that unlocks the shackles of societal norms and expectations. It allows you to break free from the mold, to forge your own path. It's the spark that ignites the flame of freedom, allowing you to live authentically, to be true to yourself. But stepping off the beaten path is not an easy feat. It requires a deep sense of self-belief, a willingness to face criticism, and the strength to stand alone. It's a journey filled with challenges and uncertainties, but it's also a journey filled with immense growth, self-discovery, and ultimately, freedom. Let's circle back to Alex. Alex found his courage. He dared to step off the path laid out for him, to forge his own. He faced his fears, he faced criticism, and he faced himself. And in doing so, he found his freedom. Alex found his courage, and with it, his freedom. But how did this affect his happiness? With newfound freedom, Alex's life began to take a new shape. No longer bound by the chains of societal expectations, he found that he was able to explore his own desires, dreams, and aspirations, free from the shackles of the norm. He was, in essence, reborn, discovering a world of possibilities he had never before imagined. As Alex ventured down this path of self-discovery, he began to experience an increase in happiness. He found joy in the simplest of things, the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, the warmth of the sun on his skin. The world, once a source of frustration and disappointment, had transformed into a playground of wonder and excitement. He discovered that happiness, true happiness, wasn't a destination, but rather a journey, a continuous exploration of the self and the world around. Alex's sense of fulfillment also grew. He no longer felt the need to seek approval or validation from others. He was content, satisfied with his own progress, his own achievements. His happiness was no longer tied to external factors, but was instead rooted in his own self-acceptance and self-love. His journey was not without challenges, of course. There were moments of self-doubt, moments when he questioned his choices, but each time he found the courage to persevere, to continue down the path he had chosen for himself. And with every obstacle he overcame, his conviction grew stronger, his happiness deeper. Alex's transformation was nothing short of remarkable. From a man trapped in the confines of societal expectations to a man free to live his own truth. His story is a testament to the power of freedom and courage. It is a reminder that happiness is not something we find, but something we create. Something we cultivate within ourselves. Alex's story teaches us that the secret to happiness is freedom, and the secret to freedom is courage. What can we learn from Alex's story? Well, Alex's tale is a testament to the fact that the secret to happiness lies in freedom. And freedom, my friends, is not a gift bestowed upon us. It's a prize to be won. And the currency is courage. It's the courage to step out of the shadows of conformity, to reject the familiar, and to embrace the uncertainty of the unknown. It's about having the guts to follow your own path, even when that path is uncharted and the destination is unclear. It's about risking defeat, knowing that victory is not guaranteed, but recognizing that the journey itself is the reward. In a nutshell, happiness is not a destination, but a journey. A journey that requires courage, a journey that leads to freedom. So remember, happiness is within your reach. All you need is the courage to find your freedom. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and keep living with authenticity. Remember that life is a journey. Be sure to visit lifelesson.tv for more.